Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, I want to start off by saying that I've been picking up that the collective dream state is really active. So I've spoken on this a little bit on my Instagram, which, by the way, never before in the history of me doing the Magnetize Yourself channel or Instagram, which has been 5 or 6 years now, but never before have I been so active on Instagram as I have been in the last week. I've been creating a lot of text posts that are channeling through downloads that I've been receiving in real time and collective experiences and trends that I've been picking up on. So really, I would say that if you want to get more real-time messages and downloads from me, then I would definitely recommend checking out my Instagram. So if you aren't yet following me there, my Instagram username is @MagnetizeYourself, and if I remember, I will try to leave a link to my Instagram underneath this video in the description box of the video. But the first thing I want to say is, with this active dream state, you may feel as though you are kind of like working overnight in consciousness while you're sleeping. So you may wake up actually feeling tired, or as though your soul has been kind of traveling as you've been physically resting. That's one message that's been coming through. I'm hearing that you are healing, teaching, and assisting others through your dream state, either consciously or unconsciously. And this kind of reminds me of a dream I had last night. I won't necessarily share the entire dream, but in part of the dream, I heard a male voice saying, "Are you sure there's enough room?" Or "I hope that you were right and that there's enough room." And in the dream, I was getting on some kind of large bus in the middle of the night, and I was taking this huge group of people to some kind of safe house. And I felt when I awoke that there was a spiritual meaning in this dream for our collective, for those of you who are listening to this reading, because I feel as though you are one of those who is guiding masses of people to this so-called safe house, which I'm hearing really is the other side of their awakening. You are helping others to travel, in a sense, from lower dimensions to higher dimensions. But as I said in a recent post as well on Instagram, you are no longer the bridge builder, you are the frequency holder. So you are like creating and holding some kind of safe space is what I'm hearing, like energetically, emotionally, physically. The others are then being called up to or being inspired into. Many of you are safe houses for souls in ways that you don't even realize. Just by existing here on this planet, your energy is this place where people feel warm and safe to be able to open up in a deeper way. And I'm hearing to explore themselves spiritually or emotionally in like a safe container. Maybe you provide this to others through conversations, through interactions in this physical realm. For others of you, you may actually be creating something, a platform, a business, a product, a community in the physical world that actually acts as some kind of more tangible extension of that safe haven of your energy, so to speak. So with that being said, I want to talk more about more of a romantic element to some of these dreams. I know I'm going to be speaking to a very specific portion of the collective, so only take this if it connects, but this has to be spoken about. Because what I'm picking up for this collective, which again is going to be very specific, is that there is a certain person who has been connecting to you in consciousness on a higher self level. And this kind of reminds me of a reading I did recently on a soul inversion. So this person may be your soul's inversion, and you can look in that recent reading for more information on that. Or recently on my Instagram, I did a post explaining soul inversions in depth. But essentially, a soul inversion is someone who shares your frequency or a similar frequency to your soul energetically. So they're part of your soul family, but they manifest opposite in the physical, meaning that they display or exhibit more of the shadow aspects to your soul essence. They bring to light your shadow, whereas you represent more of the light aspects of that essence. And often we meet these soul inversions so that we can teach each other something, so that we can exchange some of those shadow and light elements with each other and help each other to further integrate ourselves, to become more aware of the parts of ourselves that we may not necessarily be fully seeing. We will feel extremely drawn to soul inversions when they enter our lives because within them, we are essentially seeing ourselves mirrored back to us in the reverse. So we are seeing who we are at the core, but the parts of ourselves that we usually try to push down, hide, deny, or suppress. Now, it's the same for the other person as well. I'm getting that for them. It's almost like, whereas there may be aspects of yourself, like shadow aspects that you don't necessarily feel, I don't want to say, this is so difficult to word. I hope you know what I'm trying to get across here. These shadow aspects, which we all have, the light and the dark, you may, I'm hearing, try to kind of remove yourself from your shadow aspects and display more of the light. But you're so drawn to this person because they seem to embrace more of that shadow. Does that make sense? They seem to display more of what you've been repressing within yourself. And it's the same vice versa. They have been repressing their own light, their own highest potential, and displaying more of that shadow. But of course, you feel as though you deeply understand each other because you do, because you understand their shadow, because in essence, it's your own shadow manifested. And they understand your light, even though they may feel as though they can't really fully access it, because your light is the physical manifestation of the higher potential within themselves that they've been running away from in some sense. So what I'm getting is that something about this kind of bond for this specific collective has been activated. When I say it's been activated, I mean there's been some kind of ripple in the quantum field. That's what I'm getting, that has brought this bond into both of your consciousnesses, but you are more aware of it because you are more connected to your spirit, to your higher self. And I'm hearing you are more quick to act on intuition and on spiritual downloads, whereas this person tends to question themselves a lot. So when they receive intuition to say or do something towards you or to take some kind of action, they may not necessarily act on it, whereas you are more likely to act on intuition. And I am just getting a side message in general about how beautiful it is that you are someone who is so intuitively guided. Maybe there's been certain situations recently where you've acted on, I'm hearing by faith, not by sight, where you've acted on intuition, not really knowing exactly how it's going to play out, but you had the courage to take action on your intuition. And I'm hearing if this happened recently, it may have results that you have not been able to fully see yet, meaning in the moment you may think, why did I do that? Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have taken action. But I'm hearing that if it came from the heart, which it did in this instance, from what I'm picking up, it's never lost. It's always planted. Anything you give from the heart is never lost. It's always planted, meaning It may be planted like a seed where you don't see its visible growth or how it's going to grow or what it's going to turn into, but it's always going to lead to some kind of growth, some kind of harvest, some kind of positive manifestation when it's something coming from the heart. So what I'm picking up is that you've been quicker to receive this knowing, to receive that there's some kind of soul bond that's been activated. And there's something surprising about this. Maybe this person isn't necessarily your usual type. Maybe this is someone that you wouldn't usually engage with in this way or have an interest in this way. I just keep picking up that there's something confusing about this. There's some element of why now and why this person and why am I feeling this intensely about them? And I'm also picking up that you are not only feeling the soul contract on your end, but because of the way that you are energetically connected to this person, I'm hearing there's an open channel of energetic telepathy right now between the two of you. And because of that, you are not only aware of what you are feeling, but you are also aware and feeling everything that this person is repressing. So you are feeling all of their repressed emotions. So I am going to go ahead and shuffle some of the cards here. I'm hearing that their higher self called you back. So as we peel back the layers to this, what I'm getting is you may have, and I'm hearing there's a reason you keep getting called back. There's something unfinished here. I'm getting so many goosebumps as I'm channeling into this. But what I'm picking up is that you may have surrendered this person or situation. You may have let it go. You may have said, you know what? They're clearly not feeling this in the way I am. They're not responding to me or to my attempts to connect. So I am just going to respect myself and let this go. And I feel like you keep doing that and the universe keeps pulling you back in it with like either clear signs, clear synchronicities, clear messages. I feel that somehow you keep getting tugged back to this person. Like every time you try to disconnect, it's almost like this boomerang effect where you end up feeling them even more strongly. And you're wondering why this is happening. And it's because there's some form of unfinished business here. And this person's higher self keeps calling you back, even as their 3D self keeps pushing you away. That's what I'm getting here. And that is the complication. Their higher self is so connected to you and is calling you back in their life. I'm hearing, don't give up on me. It's like their higher self is saying, don't give up on me in my physical human form, but their physical human self is pushing you away. Now, as I channel that, I know that's a very complex dynamic. And you guys know, I always say to care for yourself, to make the most self-loving choices. I'm definitely not saying that you have to reconnect with this person, but I'm channeling into a specific collective that is experiencing this extremely strange and confusing dynamic where you feel like in the physical, this person is kind of guarded or hesitant or pushing you away even, but then you keep getting called back into this dynamic. And I'm hearing every time you get called back, you feel it even more strongly. There's such a dissonance within this person between how they're acting physically and what their higher self is trying to communicate to you. And that is really confusing your intuition because you're able to sense both. You're able to fully sense their reservations, their hesitation, their guardedness in the physical. And you're also able to sense their pull to you and how they're calling you back in on a higher self level. So I am going to be shuffling the cards. I got the words university, autumn, lucky, coffee, poet. So those are from my Love Word Scramble, which for those of you who are new, that is a tool that I use to channel specific words, names, details, and other things that may connect with specific individuals. So for some reason, I'm seeing a yellow duck also. Maybe that's significant to someone, but I want to know, okay, you know what? Let's do a read on how this person is behaving physically, what they're feeling in the 3D, and also how they're feeling on a higher self level. But I actually want to start with the higher self. So let's go to the Lover Oracle. Let's pull some specific love messages from this person's higher self. So What is their higher self think? Oh, card really came out. No one understands me but you. And I just got a wave of chills as I flipped over this card. Like I said earlier, this person feels as though you understand their light and their shadow, but I feel like this is mirrored. I keep getting that you and this person are here on some kind of soul mission. And it's almost like that soul mission has been activated. And this person, while there is still a lot of dissonance between how they're acting in the physical and what their higher self is feeling, I almost get that that gap is starting to close, or they're starting to become a bit more open to that higher self perspective. And I feel like that was the ripple in the quantum realm that activated this contract between the two of you, where you were meant to exchange something in some kind of way. We also have the card, It is dark without you. And okay, I'm getting that you and this person have always been connected by a thread. There's been a thread that's always been connecting the two of you. And I'm hearing it's a thread of commonality. I don't know what that means for you, but I'm picking up that, you know what, I'm actually going to look that up. Because that's such a strange wording. So let's look up what this could mean with this so-called thread of commonality. I feel that you may have always been loosely connected in the physical realm, meaning almost like, I want to say, for example, this is just an example, but you may have gone to the same high school or college, or lived in the same location, or lived close to each other, or like followed similar tracks in terms of like where you've lived, like cities, or maybe you've had similar friend groups. I'm hearing that theory about degrees of connection. And I feel that for the two of you, you may either have mutual friends or be connected by a certain number of degrees of connection or something like that. But with this thread of commonality, let's read the potential meaning. The thread of commonality of connecting two people is a poetic metaphor for the energetic, emotional, or soul-level bond that exists between two individuals, often beyond surface-level similarities or logic. It refers to that subtle yet undeniable resonance, like an invisible cord running between your hearts or souls, that creates a feeling of instant familiarity as if you've known them forever, deep recognition as if you've just met, unspoken understanding where words often feel unnecessary, shared essence as though you carry pieces of the same energy or mission. This thread can show up in many ways: parallel life experiences, mirrored emotional wounds, or a shared soul frequency. And on that similar wounding kind of thing, I feel as though energetically you may have experienced some of the same wounds, but that they manifested differently. And so in the physical, until you get to talking on a deeper level, the two of you may not be fully aware of just how deep this thread of commonality goes. I'm hearing that when you do have this conversation, it's interesting, my guides are saying when and not if. It almost feels inevitable here that eventually the two of you are going to be unpacking this. But it feels like when you discuss this, you are going to find these parallel moments in your life paths, similar experiences, maybe even similar wounds. I'm hearing something about you being better at hiding them, or what I mean by that is, I feel like, and this has been a common theme in readings coming up for you, but I feel like you don't look like what you went through. And what I mean by that is you've been through so much darkness, so much shadow, so much heaviness, but your appearance is almost like angelic to others. You have this glow about you that looks so pure that others they would never guess what you've gone through in this physical lifetime. And I feel like that's what's going on to some extent here with this person. They look at you and they see something pure, they see something angelic and almost untouchable. And until the two of you have this deeper conversation, they would never really guess, just looking at you, what you've gone through, or that you can relate to some of the experiences that they've gone through in their own life. So I'm really curious to know how this thread of commonality connects to the concept of meeting a soul inversion. So let's see if we can get any information on that. And with It Is Dark Without You, I feel like I'm getting so many chills. Had to take a deep breath there. I feel like this person's physical self has been living without you. And on some level, they've always known that someone like you existed. But the thing is, they're not putting together, I'm hearing they're not putting the face to the frequency, meaning they're not connecting the dots yet here. They're not connecting that you, like in your human identity, are the one that they've been sensing, that they've been longing for and looking for. And I'm hearing that part of them gave up looking a long time ago, but another part of them never gave up. So I feel that that part of them that never gave up on looking for love has kind of been not just love. This is deeper. This is like someone that gets them, someone that sees them fully for their light and their shadow, someone who shares some kind of soul mission with them here in this life. They've been looking for this person, for this frequency, but they haven't connected the face to the frequency, meaning they haven't put together that it's you that they've been looking for, but their higher self knows it and they've been missing you. And because they've been missing you so strongly, this may be someone who has been coming through your dreams, your daydreams. I'm getting you may have had what I like to call like a shared dream or a mutual dream experience. This was my most recent Instagram post as of when I'm recording this. But in that post, I spoke about how sometimes when a dream is super vivid about another person, meaning like you can literally feel it, like you feel it physically sometimes, emotionally, you wake up feeling rattled, you wake up feeling like it actually happened, often just wishing you could stay asleep and continue the dream. These dreams are often actually shared experiences in consciousness where your higher selves are actually meeting in the astral through those dreams. So that may have happened for you with this person, but connecting the thread of commonality to soul inversion, when you meet someone and feel an immediate, inexplicable connection, a sense that they know you in a way others don't, what you're feeling is the energetic thread between your soul and theirs. The thread doesn't form in that moment. It's already there. It's a resonance that predates this life. What you're experiencing is a reunion, not a meeting. Meeting a soul is different than meeting a person. It's not about personality or even shared values at the surface. It's about shared origin, shared light, a feeling of being braided into the same larger patterns, as if your threads are interwoven into a divine tapestry. So I want to know more from this person's higher self here. Clearly, it's like they are longing for you. They are missing you. And I feel like that is what you are picking up on. I feel like it's this frequency, it's this vibration of craving you, of longing for you, that you are sensing because you are so intuitive, almost to the point of it feeling like grief for you or being overwhelming. I feel that although you've always been connected by this thread of commonality to this person, as we've been describing, they have gone through a lot of heaviness in this life. And I feel that because of some of what they've gone through, it's kept the two of you apart to some extent. With the 10 of Cups in the reverse position, I'm hearing unlucky in love. So it's possible that you or this other person considered yourself to be unlucky, quote unquote, in love. Or maybe you've watched other people settled into these harmonious relationships and felt like something was broken about you or your timing or something was wrong. This is going to get so specific. Bear with me. I know this reading is going to just connect with a certain group, but I really feel as though the reason someone here has felt unlucky in love is because their person, the person that they were meant to like date, to connect with, to marry, that the one kind of person has been delayed in their timing because they've been dealing with some very dark stuff in this lifetime. And it's the same for them. They feel like they've always been looking for that person, for the one, so to speak. This can be very, very complicating, by the way. And I may have to do an Instagram download on this because so when you are someone who, well, first of all, when you feel as though you were always meant to settle down, get married, maybe have a family or whatever that looks like for you, or maybe like find your person, when you are someone who has that desire within you, that means that that pathway is available to you, that there is a pathway to that, connected to your highest timeline in this life, if you still desire to manifest that later on, which of course you have total free will. That's entirely up to you. But there's a reason that desire was planted in your heart. However, when you have that desire, but then you start to feel as though maybe I'm just unlucky because nothing ever quite feels right. Every connection I interact with feels almost like I would have to force it to be a yes, but I'm not getting that like total body, mind, and soul yes feeling that I expect to get with the one, with my true person. When you're feeling that way, very often you are in a group that does have a soul incarnated that you are meant to be sharing that kind of connection with, but that other soul has taken on a lot of dense, heavy karmic patterning in this life that they are clearing, and they're feeling overwhelmed by all of that heaviness, and they've taken extra time to clear it. And so what happens is you on your end can feel almost like you're holding a space for someone that you're not even sure exists, because it's almost like you're waiting for this person, the one, someone out there that you're not even sure exists, but your soul knows that they do. That's the best way I can describe it. And your soul will not let you settle for less than that, because you know, you can sense on a higher self level that that person is out there, but you either haven't met them yet physically because they've been delayed due to what they're clearing in their own life because of the heaviness that they're dealing with. Or in other cases, you have met this person, but it hasn't worked out or hasn't fully clicked into place because, again, they've been dealing with a lot of heaviness in their own life, and it's prevented the two of you from fully connecting harmoniously. Things have been pushed down the line, so to speak. And in these instances, of course, you have a lot of options because it's totally within your right to choose to explore other romantic connections in these cases, to choose whatever makes you happy, whether it is continuing on with life more independently or whether it's allowing yourself to open to a different romantic connection, at least for the time being, that feels like it supports you. And of course, all of that is entirely up to you. I just hope that by explaining this dynamic, this very specific collective can understand what is going on here and why your timing has always felt so delayed in love. So anyway, it's been the same for this person. They have felt very delayed. I'm getting that they've either kind of had a trail of broken or disharmonious love connections, or they may currently be alone. They may be single. I'm hearing struggling. I really feel like this person's human self is struggling a lot right now, which is why their higher self called you in. But again, the paradox here is, because their human self is struggling, they're pushing you away because they perceive you as like this angelic, pure being of light that I'm hearing your light is almost blinding to them in a way. And they feel like their human self is telling them they'll never understand what you're going through. They'll never be able to empathize with you. They'll never want you. They'll never want to connect with you. So it's almost like they're rejecting themselves on that human level by pushing you away. But their higher self keeps calling you in because their higher self knows that you are actually the only one who understands them. So I really want to know a bit more on whether this person is going to be coming towards you. So what is going on? Well, I said I was going to channel more into what their human self is feeling. So I keep getting the word addiction. I don't know if this person is struggling with literal substance addictions, but this also could be emotional addictions or just patterns in their life that have been holding them back. Yeah, with the Magician reversed, if that is the case, I feel these addictions or these patterns have held them back from reaching their highest potential, but that they've been breaking with those addictions or patterns. And that is beginning to clear the fog spiritually, so to speak. And that's part of why you're being called in to their life now. Like when we ask that question, why now? Why are you feeling the pull to them so strongly now? Why are they coming through in dreams now? It seems to be because they do seem to be breaking with some kind of cycle in their past, whether it's a cycle of addiction, a cycle of behavior, a cycle of thinking. I feel like they've made the conscious choice to break with something from their past, and that is opening them up to you. But I feel like the door is just beginning to crack open here, which is why they may still seem to be hesitating or pushing you away to some extent. But I keep getting that their higher self doesn't want you to fully leave or fully let them go. It's like their higher self is saying, give me time to open up to you because I know I'm doing it slowly and I have to do it slowly because the fog within me spiritually is only just beginning to clear. That's what I'm getting from this person. I am going to be continuing messages from them onto our extended readings. So if you want a more in-depth reading on this person and situation, feel free to join me on either Patreon or YouTube memberships for the extended reading. And the link to get that extended reading is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. But for now, I am going to close this first reading here. I hope something here connected with you. Again, I feel we're channeling into a very specific group here. So of course, use your intuition, only take what connects for you personally. But otherwise, I'm going to leave the reading here. Have a beautiful remainder of your day. And because I am doing daily videos here on the channel, at least through mid-August, that is my goal. I will see you here again tomorrow with another video.